Marco Rubio claims he's heard shocking firsthand accounts of UFOs from top Pentagon officials who claim the U.S. owns crashed non-human craft and is working on reverse engineering their technology. Whenever I hear non-human, it sounds like some kind of weasel word, and I'm imagining like they found a beaver riding on a log and they were like, look, a non-human craft. And then they're like, how did the beaver do it? And the reverse engineering is just like trying to figure out how the beaver knocked the log into the river and then got on top of it. You know, you can describe things in certain ways to make it sound more interesting than it really is. Non-human craft. Oh, he's being honest. If they said extraterrestrial or non-terrestrial, that might mean a bit more to me. But okay, UFO means flying object, so we're not talking about a beaver riding a log down a river. I'm just saying. I bring that up to say the language they use could be intentionally misleading because they want you to think it's aliens when in fact non-human craft could mean something totally nonsensical. But anyway, let's not dash your hopes and dreams just yet. Let's read the story and entertain the idea that perhaps aliens really are out there. More whistleblowers in the Pentagon have come forward with firsthand knowledge of secret UFO crash retrieval programs Marco Rubio has revealed. The Republican Florida senator said officials with very high clearances who have occupied high positions within our government have come forward with firsthand knowledge or firsthand claims of top secret government programs. Ex-Air Force officer David Grush made worldwide news earlier this month when he claimed alien craft and bodies had been recovered and back engineered by U.S. officials. You know, I got to be honest, I don't believe it. They're always trying to distract from something. Grush noted that these beings are cautiously described as non-human intelligences by insiders within these highly classified programs, because even experts can't say for sure where these beings really come from. Oh, I get it. Interdimensional, extraterrestrial, alien planets, or maybe underground. Senator Rubio said that some witnesses who spoke with the Senate Intelligence Committee, where Rubio is vice chairman, were likely some of the same individuals referenced by Grush. You got some of these videos here. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward, Rubio told News Nation Monday. Grush, an Air Force veteran who went onto posts at both the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the NRO, told the Inspector General that he had faced illegal retaliation for his inquiries into these same highly classified UFO programs. I don't believe it. These stories always come out when there's some damning controversy around Joe Biden. It's like evidence emerges that Joe Biden was kicking dogs, and then they're like, oh, but UFOs. And then everyone goes and runs to the UFO story. For their part, the Inspector General described Grush's complaint as credible and urgent in July 2022, forwarding the filing to the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, and Rubio's own Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, among others. Senator Rubio, who is vice chair of the Senate's Intelligence Committee, emphasized that there have been similar credible threats to the committee's other unnamed witnesses, their livelihoods and their lives. I'm not trying to be evasive, Rubio said, but I am trying to be protective of these people. Some of these people still work in the government, and frankly, a lot of them are very fearful of their jobs, fearful of their clearances, fearful of their career, and some, frankly, are fearful of harm coming to them. I can understand that. Maybe it's true. Maybe that's a reality. Rubio's comments illustrate the need for Congress's newly created UFO Whistleblower Protections, which were enacted last year through a bipartisan amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. But the senator's comments also help explain the bold recent moves by the Senate Intelligence Committee. Last week, the committee unanimously adopted a provision to cut off all federal funding to any secret UFO reverse engineering program, whether conducted by the U.S. government or hidden away in the private sector via a defense contractor. The Intel Committee chose their words carefully, broadly targeting any reverse engineering programs involving unidentified craft of non-Earth or exotic origin. Now, hold on there a minute. Why do that? Why cut off funding to these programs? Seriously. If you want to know about them, I get it. If Congress isn't being given this information, they should be. But don't we want to reverse engineer exotic non-Earth aircraft or vehicles? We should be doing that. I suppose the argument is this bill is intended to force them out into the open to address the issue. The Intel Committee chose their words carefully. Despite the shocking directness of these legislative moves, Rubio was more circumspect about the complete accuracy of these high-level whistleblowers and their claims. I don't find them either not credible or credible, Senator Rubio told NewsNation. Washington correspondent Joe Khalil. Understand some of these claims are things that are beyond the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with. Very interesting. They say earlier this June, AARO Director Sean Kirkpatrick played a 2022 military UFO video taken by an MQ-9 Reaper drone in the Middle East for NASA's own UFO advisory panel. We see these orbs all over the world, and we see these making very interesting apparent maneuvers. I'm not super convinced. An orb flies by, and you can see on camera they film that orb. The orb can be a quadrotor. Seriously. You could take a drone, like a quadcopter that you see at Best Buy, and you can put a sphere around it, a cage sphere. Air can still pass through. It may inhibit its ability to move as well, but then you'll have an orb floating around and flying around. The thing is, depending on how you design the outer casing, you won't be able to tell the pitch, the roll, or the yaw of the object. So it'll just be moving around seemingly by some unperceivable means. Let me put it this way. Let's say you have the quadcopter. Here's my hand. If it goes like this, it'll move left. If it goes like this, it'll move right. If it goes like this, if it pitches forward, it'll move forward. If you put an orb around it that does not inhibit airflow, when it pitches forward, you won't be able to tell. All you'll see is the orb moving around, even though it is actually pitching left and right. When I see these things, they call them UAPs or UFO, my first response is it's probably just some very basic military surveillance tech. I'm not impressed by it. Yeah, the orb flies by. It could be anything. It could just be a quadrotor drone, and they can move very, very quickly. And if they're big enough, they can move zip, zip, zip and fly around. Have you ever seen people fly those helicopters, the remote control helicopters? They can like zip, 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 like move around like crazy. Actually, let me pull up a video, because this one I think really does debunk a lot of this. If I can find the video of it, RC Nitro stunt helicopters, because people get seriously hurt by this stuff too. I think this might be one of these videos. I'm not entirely sure. I just grabbed a random video, and let's just play it and see what we get. So this is a RC Nitro stunt helicopter. Let me turn that down. They have these videos. Look at that. Okay, for those that are just watching, it's zipping straight up, straight down, stopping, holding ground. These are crazy. These are cool things. Let's zoom forward. For those that can't see it, it's flying upside down. It's stopping, changing, and going like zigzag, freezing in midair, flipping the other direction. If you took this tech and applied it to the military, you could make it 100 times more powerful. And people would be like, whoa, what is this weird thing we're seeing? It's like, bro, it's a remote control helicopter. It's not that big a deal. It's kind of crazy they fly like this, though. Now apply an AI flight algorithm to one of these objects. This is cool to watch, to be completely honest. Apply an AI to these things, and it's going to be zipping around like crazy. And you're going to have people be like, I saw this weird sphere and it like shot forward, stopped immediately, then shot straight up into the air. We've never seen anything like it. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? I saw a kid fly that thing in the park the other day. Now, these things are dangerous. Those blades, they can seriously hurt you. So make sure you got a professional when you're flying those things. But they're like toys. They're like toys. Come on. Now, if you're talking about an actual craft, non-human craft, let's play that game. They say it was a non-human craft. Oh, what does that mean? That helicopter was a non-human craft, meaning a human can't fly in it. Get it? You got to be careful how they play these games. I think they may just be trying to distract us for the most part, but who knows? Who knows? If there really is something going on, we should hear about it. We should know about it. I do think a lot of the UFO stuff is just gimmicky clickbait, manipulations and distraction. Most of these people at some point are currently, or even currently hold high clearances. So you do ask yourself, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification have to come forward or to make something up? Orders? 10 people. How many people are we really talking about? And they say, hey, go to the press and claim you saw this. We want to distract people today. These are serious people. Given the stature of these sources and the volatility of their claims, the senator called for a mature understanding from his fellow legislators, policymakers, and the general public, saying that he sees a duty to intake the information without any prejudgment or jumping to any conclusions in one direction or another. We're trying to gather as much of that information as we can, Rubio said. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Come out with real evidence. And even then, I got to be honest, I won't completely believe it. You can't just, if they just come out and say it, it's not enough. They can show me a video and I'll say, come on. Ian talks about something called talking plasma. If they point 3 lasers into a single space, it looks like a physical object. And then they can move the lasers around and it'll make the object look like it's zipping around. There are illusions. There are tricks. When the aliens land in their ship, walk out, and we can prove they're aliens, I'll believe it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.